Hello and welcome. Thank you for watching my video presentation. Today we will be taking a look at a 7th and 8th grade middle school dance and seeing how people's attitudes reflect upon the situations upon which they find themselves in life. This will be an attempt to review John Maxwell's book, Your Attitude. So thank you, and without further ado, we will now begin. Here we are in the scene of the middle school gym for the middle school dance upon which I told you we would be witnessing. Over here, we have our stunning male dancer about to approach his female. Now, we will move forward and you have your stereotypical Asian doing his homework during the dance. Just kidding, I love Asians. Now, we have our lovely Christina in her stunning camouflage dress. And also our DJ and the guy who sits by the DJ's table and requests songs the entire dance because he doesn't have a date. So, here we go. Let's see how this scene unfolds.
Hi, Christina. Hi. Would you dance with me?
Pause. Now, little Johnny here has to make a choice on how he's going to let his attitude play out in this situation. Either A, he can get upset and get mad at the guy who came in and stole his girl, or he can look for a more peaceful way to resolve this situation. So, let's let this play out and see what little Johnny decides to do.
Hey man, back off! What? I asked her first.
At least I have my hands in the right position.
Hey, it doesn't matter what you did there. I asked her first.
She likes me more. I smell better.
You smell like ass!
Do you see what you're wearing?
Shorts? Shorts. Black.
Suit coat.
Beard.
Clean shaven.
Time out. See, we've seen how poorly things turned out when little Johnny here had a poor attitude. So let's rewind a little bit and see what would have happened if he would have handled things in a more peaceable manner.
Hey man. I'm sorry to bother you, but I really was dancing with her first, and I don't mind you dancing with her, but would you allow me to finish my dance with her before you dance with her?
Well, you know, because you asked so politely and you had a good attitude about it, I will allow you to dance with her now, and I will take her later.
Thanks man, I appreciate it.
Have a great time.
Now, where were we?
See what a big difference a good attitude can make? So I encourage you, have a great attitude and have a great day. You see, Maxwell describes in his book an interesting concept of an attitude meter within an airplane. He said he was riding with one of his friends who was an airline pilot, and he noticed that there was this big, bulky, what's it called, an appliance in the plane. And he asked his friend what that was, and he told him it was to measure the attitude of the plane. And so Maxwell was a little bit confused at first and asked what the attitude of the plane was. And basically the attitude of a plane is the relationship of the nose of a plane to the horizon. So if the plane's nose is tipping up, the attitude is, I guess, higher. And if the plane's nose is tipping down, it's going to be lower. And so what the pilot told him is that the attitude of a plane determines the performance of the plane. And it also determines how successful the plane is going to be. And basically, as you change your attitude of the plane, it's going to change the performance and the how efficient your plane works. And Maxwell then turned that into a statement talking about how our attitude is going to dictate our performance and how we live our lives. How in order to maintain a proper life, we need to make sure we have the right attitude. And he tied this into Philippians 2, 5 through 8, or 5 through 10, or from Philippians chapter 2 when it says, let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ Jesus, who, being in the form of God, thought it equality with God something not to be grasped. And basically saying that we need to have the same attitude as Christ. And he discusses three main concepts of what Christ's attitude looked like. That Christ was selfless, that he didn't look for ways to promote himself, but instead looked for ways to promote others. Christ was also secure with his attitude. He knew who he was in relationship to the Father, so he knew he didn't have to try to live above that, and he knew that he wasn't going to live below it. But because he had that proper attitude and the proper perspective, he was able to fulfill his mission to the highest purpose. And lastly, he was also submissive, again tying into the fact where he didn't look out for his own issues, but he submitted his will to the Father's, which doesn't mean that he's less than the Father, but that even though he knew that certain things might be painful or may not be the most enjoyable for him, that he had that attitude where he knew that there was a greater plan, and he was willing to submit to what God wanted for his life. So I just encourage you, as we look over this, just to realize that the attitude that we have, like Maxwell says, is going to dictate how we live our lives. It's going to dictate the performance of our lives, and ultimately how well we're able to live our lives for Christ, based upon whether or not we have a good attitude. And just as with every other thing in life, we need to be sure to emulate the attitude of Christ, because he is our perfect example, and we have no other example but him to follow. So if we have the attitude that Christ had, if we try to be more like him, then we're going to be more successful in pleasing God in everything that we say and do, as we live our lives to bring him honor and glory.